Hey guys, it's Holly. Welcome back to my channel. So I just filmed a good portion of this video, but unfortunately it got deleted. It got cut short. So, anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and do this over. So I'm doing a homeschool review, final review after a year of using Sonlight curriculum, which is a Christian homeschool curriculum. And so my oldest son is 7, and I have 2 kids, 3 and 7, but my oldest son, he just finished up first grade. So we chose Sonlight curriculum for this year for many different reasons. And last year we did use Abeka, but there were just some things about Abeka that we just thought we could do better on and it would work better for our individual family. I do think Abeka is a good program, but it just didn't entirely work for us, and we were looking for something different. So with that being said, my son's been homeschooled since really since 2019, since preschool, and then we had him go to public school for about 7 weeks, and then we had the COVID-19 pandemic, and so from that point forward we just homeschooled. And so after kindergarten we decided to just keep doing it because we loved it so much and the freedom and flexibility that it brought to our lives. And so ultimately we chose Sonlight because number one was the price. Whenever I was doing research last year and I was looking for a new curriculum, I was really happy with the price because we paid just under $900 for the whole entire year, and that's literally everything. Now you do have to obviously provide your own very basic supplies like pencils, pens, scissors, etc., glue, but it's all very, very basic, very, very minimal stuff. And I feel like Sonlight curriculum is also a more minimalistic curriculum. It is literature based, so everything is written, books, etc. You get a guidebook to follow along with, and you do not have to, you don't have your child on the electronics all day. And so for us, that was a huge thing because my children already spend so much time on their tablets and laptops, and my son has a phone too. So I feel like I really felt like I just wanted to do a vintage, more old school way of doing school instead of spending so much more time on these electronics all day, since our kids already spend so much time doing that, just being quite frank here. So that was a big thing for us. And also, I really like how Sonlight is just so incredibly supportive. They are flexible, and it is so cool because in the guidebook that they give you, it kind of like tracks your progress, and every so often, like, after so many weeks or whatever, it will say congratulations for making it this far. If you've had a hard time or you haven't gotten as far along as you wanted to by now because life happens, it just said something like, just take a break, take a week or 2 off. It basically just said do what you want to do and come back to it. This is your class, this is your, it's all you. And so with that comes a lot of responsibility, but I was very impressed with Sonlight and just how relaxed it is. And honestly, that's what I want for my child. I want to have a relaxed educational experience because, quite frankly, the public school system, private school system, not always with the private school system, not always, there are some exceptions, but in mainstream society, education has gotten to be very, very stressful. It tends to get more stressful as the years go by. And, I just don't want my child in a high stress environment because there's already so much going on in the world. And I'm not trying to shelter my child from the world, but I do want that, relaxed environment so that my child can learn optimally. And so that was a big thing for us. And it still is. So I really like that it's literature based, and it has saved us so much time. We chose the 4-day curriculum for the first grade. You can do a 4-day or a 5-day a week program. So with the 4-day program, it took us just about an hour each day to do it. So we usually would just do Monday through Thursday, take Friday off. And I was just like so incredibly happy that it did not take us so much time to do this. And really, when you're thinking about it, when you're one-on-one with your student, things go by so much faster, so much quicker. And so, yeah, I mean, it only took us about an hour a day. Some days it might even be 45 minutes. Now, there were some days, it might be a little bit longer just because, we were catching up or whatever. But ultimately, yes. And it was 144 days, 36 weeks, and just bam, done. Now, that doesn't include all the other educational activities we were doing throughout the days, such as, but not limited to, field trips, things like certain activities, educational games on the phone or the laptop, or, all of these different things. And I always tell people that life is a learning experience, and you don't have to be in a classroom to learn everything that you need to know in life. And in fact, most of what we need to know in life is actually not going to come from the classroom. And so it's really important that we instill in our children this, and I think it's really cool because when your child is with you throughout the days and they are seeing how you're living life, they're observing, they're learning, I just think it's so important for them to also just kind of do life with you, and so my son has really done that. And I work very part-time, and that is why I'm able to homeschool. I do still work. I do still have to pay my bills. I am a single mom, but in the same point, as a single mom, this has been a lifesaver for me to only have to take an hour out of my day to do this, to have an affordable curriculum that's Christian-based, literature-based. And I also want to point out that with this being Christian-based, this is really great for anyone that's a non-denominational Christian, or maybe like just your run-of-the-mill Baptist or Methodist, Nazarene, any kind of mainstream run-of-the-mill, church, non-denominational. I wouldn't recommend this for like independent Baptists necessarily, or evangelicals. I think there are other curriculums that would be better suited, but Sonlight is a very much real world type of curriculum, and it really instills proper Christian values, but it also is amazing at teaching about the world around us and not numbing us or keeping anything from us, and basically just telling it like it is and really talking about the outside world, talking about things that have happened, whether they're good or bad. And so I absolutely love that about Sonlight. They're not filtering anything. They're not sheltering the children from, from history, from all of these things. And so that's really awesome too, quite frankly. So anyways, these are some of the things I absolutely love about it. What I will say is we do have quite a bit of material left over after the year of using the curriculum. And we followed the book just like it told us to do, the guidebook. We did everything that was in there, and just like we were supposed to, like to a T for the most part. However, it's been hard because there's still so much material left over. Now, obviously, you can do a lot with that. You can just not use it, or you can utilize it for, summer learning and for all that kind of thing. But to be completely honest, there's so much material left over that was not even included in the curriculum that, like, I don't even think we're going to finish it by the end of the summer, because we do summer school, which is where we take about 20 to 25 minutes out of a day and we do educational activities. So where we sit down and actually do bookwork and things like that. So with that being said, I don't even think we're going to finish all of that by the end of the summer. So I do feel like it's a lot of material, but to be honest, I think all the curriculums provide too much material. And don't get me wrong, I think it's better to have too much than not enough. But if you're looking for something that's super minimal, I would recommend doing the, create your own package, which you can do with Sonlight, or even just, purchasing your own, kind of like modeling your own curriculum, which I've actually thought about doing that. And I definitely might possibly do that in the future. But this next year, I will probably go with Sonlight again. For sure, unless I create my own curriculum. So this is my curriculum of choice that I will be continuing to use. I've also found it really great when I have my younger son around while we're doing school. I don't feel like I have to shoo him away. He really actually engages with the curriculum, and it kind of just makes it to where we just get it done, and that's it. And everybody's happy about it. Everybody just does it. I think this is a great curriculum for children that have ADHD or ADD. My son has ADHD. He also has anxiety. And so he gets frustrated very easily. He gets easily distracted. And so with all of these things, this curriculum has definitely been really great for us because a lot of it is just reading. A lot of it's parent reading at this point. And it's just one of those things where you're not having to stress out so much and do all this book work and be like, okay, do this worksheet and this worksheet. So I really like that because with Abeka, which is what we used before, everything was worksheets, like everything. And it was just, not only was it boring, but it was kind of stressful in a way because there just wasn't much variety with that. So with that being said, I'm going to show you guys a few things that came with the curriculum. And so firstly, this is the guidebook. And I'm not getting the greatest angle here, so I experimented with different lighting and angles, but this is the best I could get for tonight. So this is just an example of what the page looks like. So this is one section right here, and that is for the language arts section. So we got a language arts section, and then we also got a history, Bible, literature section. And so they're color coded as well. So every day, or 4 days a week, I would go through and I would X out each individual thing as we completed it. So basically on an average day, we would have Bible reading, which is the regular Bible book that they give you, like this Bible storybook. Then you would do a quick memorization. So you would, talk about the verse you're memorizing for that week or whatever. And then listen to a CD, listen to a track the whole entire week or whatever on the CD, usually a Bible verse. And then, you read a little bit of history, maybe do encyclopedia or another history book. And then you would read a novel and usually do 1 to 2 chapters a day. And then you would read a poem from the poetry book. So then there's also a developmental activity every week. And then you can do, if you want to do field trip or practical skills, you write that in the different blanks at the bottom. And at the bottom, it is really cool because you get to write your additional subjects. So for us, our additional subjects, we would put math and then maybe writing or something like that. So the math was not really included in terms of how they wanted us to do it. They did provide us with the math books. We got 3 of them, 2 workbooks and 1 that was just kind of an instruction book. So the math I really liked. It was pretty straightforward, and we went through it pretty quick, and my son's great at math, so that was awesome. And then for the language arts section, you would go over your word list for the week. You do like a copy work activity. So there's usually 1 to 2 of those each week. And then at first we had like the I Can Read It book where your child would read a little bit. And then also Handwriting Without Tears, which is where they practice their handwriting. And that is approximately 2 to 3 days a week as well. So, and this was just our personal curriculum because every person, it's going to be different because you basically, you tailor it and then they help you tailor it to your individual situation. So anyways, but I was so incredibly happy to have had this curriculum over this last year. I just cannot even tell you. In the back of the guidebook, we have all kinds of notes, all kinds of things for you as an instructor to look at if you need to. And then they even give you like these little certificates at the back so you can fill those out and then you can laminate them or whatever. And so those are really cool as well. But again, we do have at least probably 5 or 6 books that we never even dove into that we still have for the summer. So, and again, if you don't want to use them, you can always give them away. And that's another thing I like about the literature-based curriculum is you have so much material And I have a section in a cabinet where I put everything that we've done and everything that we haven't done and organize everything accordingly. And so all of the books that we have read and gone through, a lot of those I will donate, or I will even give them as gifts if they're still in good condition, to my nieces and nephews, etc. So again, this is the guidebook. It's heavy, but it's easy to carry around portably. So there are also some other activities in there as well that you do throughout the week. Then we have the poetry book, which is like my favorite, not gonna lie. And this book has poems all throughout, and you use this pretty much every day for the whole entire year. So that's that. And obviously each year there's going to be different books, different materials, and each grade is going to be different. So all of this stuff, you know, you might not have necessarily if you choose to use Sonlight, or if you already do. So there's a timeline book. So the timeline book is where you go in and you're actually supposed to put stickers on here. But what we did is we chose to actually just write the individual people that we were talking about and the circumstances and, you know, whatever happened in this timeline book. So the timeline book is one of my least favorite things because I just kind of felt like it wasn't the most relevant for a first grader, but that is just my opinion. I do still feel like it's been helpful, but you don't use it a whole lot either, and when you do, it's like really fast, like 5 minutes or less. So then you get this map. So it has like world, and then on the other side you have the US. So that's kind of like for geography, and there's not a ton of geography in the curriculum, but there's enough that it is very helpful. So here are some examples of some novels that you're reading. So these are a couple that we never even got to, but again, these are first grade level, and obviously a lot of this is going to be read by the parent because at a first grade level, you know, a child is not going to be able to read, you know, every single thing in the book. So the I Can Read It books, there are like several of these, and this is the word list book actually. So every week you go over a different word list. That's pretty quick and easy. Then we have these little sheets that are for writing practice, which these are really handy. We still have a ton of these left over, but they have the different lines. You can do like the uppercase letters and the lowercase letters. So that's great for practicing. Then the Handwriting Without Tears book, the cover came off of it because we used it so much. But what you do in this book is a lot of just copying, printing, and your child is just getting used to writing. And then they start moving into more like paragraphs. So this one I really like because usually this is kind of like one of the main things you'll do as far as a worksheet in a day. And you'll only do one page, which is really awesome. And so I am just absolutely in love with the curriculum yet again. So then you have the Bible storybook. And we did read through all the story material in the whole entire book as of a couple days ago when we finished, or actually it was yesterday. Yeah. And so, and then in the back there are some more notes and things of that nature that you can go over as well. And then there is this encyclopedia, and the encyclopedia is a big thing that I feel like is very educational and very helpful, but for whatever reason, the curriculum did not actually call for use of this a whole lot. And so it just, I don't know, it was really weird, but there's like probably 3/4 of this book that was never even in the curriculum that we were supposed to use. So again, this is an example of something that you're going to have a lot of material left over. So there's a whole bunch more that I'm not going to show you, like the math books. Actually, I do have one here I can show you. So this is like a hardcover book. And this one was the one that it was honestly more of just kind of like explaining and teaching. But we went through this together, my son and I, and so he was learning all the same. So this is a lot of just, like I said before, just learning, and it's kind of like an instruction manual, which is what it says. It actually says it's an instruction manual. But we did use this together, and it was very helpful for my son ultimately. So another cool thing they gave us was an engineering book, and this is actually a pop-up book. So we use this for like our extra activity section or whatever. And so towards the end of the year, we used this like the last couple weeks, and I really loved it. I thought it was something different. I like that they give you stuff like this to incorporate different subjects and whatnot. So there's so much, literally everything seems to be incorporated with the curriculum, even like music and crafts and all of these things. And so there's also like another history book. There's a whole bunch more books. They have like Dr. Seuss books, Magic School Bus books, and a couple other science books. There's also an absolutely huge science kit that we have, and we actually never even used it. It was not in the book of things that we were supposed to do, but we still have it. So we are going to be utilizing that throughout the summer, and hopefully using all of it. So, but there was a ton of science materials, so I do feel like the curriculum is a little extensive, but again, like I say, I like the flexibility, and I like the fact that Sonlight, the people that work there, that they actually, say things like, I actually saved like something that they had sent to me on my email, like when they send out the emails to everybody. I had saved a couple of their emails because they actually said stuff that was just so cool, like take a break, whenever you want. Like I said before, just like, do what you need to do for your family, and remember that this is your education your way. And so like they're just not strict at all. And so if you're looking for a curriculum that's not strict, this is definitely the one for you. If you're looking for a relaxed curriculum, it is not accredited, so you do need to make sure that you're keeping record of everything and keeping your materials in a safe place. When you're finishing certain things, you can do progress reports and things of that nature, and you can find these tools online as well as through the Sonlight website. You can find different tools to utilize for record keeping, but it is very important because it is not accredited to keep your records. But the cool thing about a non-accredited program is it is a lot more lax, and it gives you a lot more leeway and freedom. There are no deadlines, and it is just all yours. Like, it's like an open field, and I just love that. So anyways, guys, that's about all I have to say about my final review of a year of Sonlight. And yeah, I definitely give it a 10 out of 10. And I will say that I just don't even know what else to say, honestly. So I did do a separate video on homeschool. I have a whole playlist on homeschooling. So I talked about Sonlight in some of my other videos as well. I also talked quite a bit more about Becca and a little bit more about the reasoning behind why we don't use that curriculum anymore. So again, this is great for if you're non-denominational and you want to, put Christ and, put God in the school of your children, and just instill those values in your child. So this is not like a really strict Christian based curriculum. This is not really suitable for, say probably Seventh-day Adventist. So again, for non-denominationals pretty much is what I would recommend. But anyways, guys, I love you, and I will see you in the next video.